Developers. I think it's about time we had a discussion. After reading some articles about all the games that were announced at the Game Awards yesterday, I couldn't help but notice a familiar little sign that I've seen all too many times in the announcement of one particular game. That game was called High Guard. Now, to be honest with you, the game itself looks fine. It's presumably another extraction shooter game, which we definitely have been getting a lot of, and I don't really have necessarily a problem with, but I just feel like it doesn't inherently capture the magic that you might be expecting from developers that worked on games like Titanfall and also Apex Legends. Titanfall 2, unbelievably good game. Does it mean, though, that the developers of this game are going to come out and make a good game themselves? Maybe. But the thing with this whole situation is that over the years, I have seen game after game after game come out that is from ex-developers of Riot Games, from Blizzard Entertainment, from Sony Online Entertainment, from every single company that you can think of that has any prestige to it. They break away, they make a game, it's okay, and then it fails. And I just have to sit and wonder, is it worth ever mentioning at this point that you used to work at a company? Is there a curse on developers, a curse on games, that if you happen to work within the Riot Games offices, your game is completely doomed to fail? The thing is, I don't even necessarily think that any of the games that have come out from these ex-developers is bad. It's just that every single piece of content that is ever written about them mentions the fact that it's from these ex-developers. And I think that maybe sets the bar just a little bit too high. To be honest with you, I'm guilty for it as well. I've made videos on games like Omega Strikers that has Ex-RIOT developers in the title because I know that more people will click on it. But I think there's actually maybe accidental juxtaposition happening here. People are seeing Ex-RIOT Games developers and they're expecting a game that they can play as many times as they can play League of Legends, which is simply not possible. I have like over 10,000 games of League of Legends. I'm mentally unwell. But it just gets more and more absurd when you actually look at the numbers here. Wildgate, a game by ex-Blizzard employees. I have had unbelievable fun playing this game, by the way. Like, it's an incredible game. I managed to have a couple of my friends also buy the game, like they got me into it. And the combat is great. Flying the ships is fun. It's hectic. It's an extraction shooter, but you're on a ship, so it's kind of not feeling so much like an extraction shooter. You're getting loot, you're getting points. It is genuinely a fantastic experience. It's kind of like Sea of Thieves in space. However, it is also $30. And if you want to play with your friends, it's like a crew of 4. 120 bucks for you and your friends to have a night of gaming does not really spark a tremendous amount of joy, does it? It kind of doesn't really matter how good the game is or what studio you came from. You have no other games under your belt as actual like studio developers. People are not going to take $30 on a punt. And especially, it's going to be impossible to convince their friends that $30 is going to be worth it for this experience. I have like just under 9 hours on this game. I had some incredible fun playing it. I would probably say it's close, but it was worth it. Some of the getaways that we had was phenomenal, but I get why people don't play it. And looking at the numbers, there is 3 people online right now. That's not even one ship's worth of people in a game. It is peaked at 750 players, and that was because they did a free weekend. A lot of people on their subreddit were saying that this game had a chance of revival if they made it free to play. I don't think they want to do that. I also think that people would get probably quite angry if they spent $30 on a game that eventually went free to play within months of it coming out. But yeah, not being able to get even 1,000 people online during free weekend, to be honest with you, it would have been great playing free weekend because there would have been unbelievable amounts of noobs that you could absolutely smash to bits. But that's neither here nor there. I'm probably never going to play the game again. But this is a disaster of a game, okay? And the sad thing is that I really, really like it, but nobody cares about it. Omega Strikers, ex-Riot Games developers. Another game that was fine. It was just air hockey with punching and fighting every so often. It was a solid game to play for a couple of afternoons, a couple of evenings. But at the same time, people are not going to be retained. They put an unbelievable amount of marketing into this. And yeah, sure, it paid off. I had 19,000 people playing at one point. You had all of the biggest streamers on planet Earth playing your game, and you got 19,000 players from it. That doesn't seem amazing, and that's with it being free to play. There's only 80 people playing right now. The last 6 months were barely above the 300 mark. Well, we got above the 400 mark, though, to be fair. But once again, Riot Games, League of Legends, an unbelievably replayable game, a game that is very, very addicting. The devs come out with an experience that's supposed to be as replayable as League, but it doesn't have 1/100th of the depth of the game, and people will play it for a bit, they'll get bored, they'll move on, and that's kind of is what it is. The game's just simply not deep enough compared to the title that they're being compared directly to, because every single piece of marketing is about the fact that they're Ex-RIOT developers. Supervive! This is one of the bigger ones, I think, that came out. It is a battle royale in a MOBA style. I don't even know why people are still trying to make this particular genre happen, because I think it's been proven time and time again that it simply does not work. Eternal Return, Battle Royale. There's a new one called Project Zeta coming out that I think is, it could go either way. Supervive. I mean, Bloodline Champions, I guess. It wasn't really a battle royale, but it tried its best. Supervive are once again from the Ex-RIOT developer bootcamp, and to be honest with you, it's a decently fun game. It's a bit confusing, and it is severely got too much itis going on. Playing a couple games of it, especially if you're new, you will have no clue what is happening, all the things that are on the screen, all the objectives you're meant to get, what the items are, what the items do, what the enemy has, what they do. It's worse than League of Legends, and League of Legends I think is an unbelievably complex and difficult game to penetrate. Never mind Dota 2. But this seemed worse to me as somebody who has kind of broke the barrier for entry in Dota 2 and also League of Legends. It just, there was so much going on that didn't seem to have any rhyme or reason to it, that I enjoyed my time with it, but I knew that it wasn't going to be a game that I was going to pump a lot of time into. It has had a lot of effort put into it, no doubt. There's been a lot of effort put into this game, and it did peak. It did pretty well initially. 47,000 people. People were exceptionally excited for this game when it came out last year. 100 people are now playing it. It has peaks and troughs of anywhere from 400 to 500 people, which is was not a bad amount of people. Okay, you're always going to be able to find a game at peak time, which is fantastic. There's obviously like a strong, solid grassroots community that is like continuing to play this game, but it's kind of just a matter of time until it gets like sunset, I guess, right? There's going to be, I mean, Omega Strikers, the game that we talked about before, is on maintenance mode. The developers have completely given up on, I believe, any type of making this game, patching this game, doing anything other than fixing bugs. Although, to be honest with you, they have got some stuff going on. It was a lot of micro patches for a while. I mean, in 2023, they said that they were going into maintenance mode, but it does seem like they have actually kept up with updating the game. So, like, I mean, respect to them. Honestly, I don't think they're going to be adding any new characters or anything like that particularly, but it does seem like they do care enough to at least do some stuff for the game, which at least the people that are playing it will probably appreciate, I'd imagine. Although we won't be buying the X plush because we hate that guy. There is so many articles that came out about Supervive potentially being a League of Legends killer, and every single time I see something like that, I mean, honestly, I don't even know how people write this anymore. You know what I mean? So many times. How many times have we heard WoW killer, Call of Duty killer, League killer, Dota killer? It's not gonna happen, man. People are so set in their ways. This game had 0% chance of ever knocking a game like League of Legends off of a top spot. They're not shutting down right now, but at the very least right now, it does seem a little bit sketchy, because I can imagine server costs do not come cheap. And of course, if they ever want to add something to this game to actually bring players back in, that's going to cost money, which there's a very solid possibility they're not making, which is just going to dwindle the pot. It's going to make things infinitely more difficult to maintain over time. It's not sustainable. I get it. I appreciate it. It's sad because it is a fun game, but it's just the curse of the ex-developer once again. Stormgate is the next one on the list, and this is an RTS that is supposedly still in active development. This is one that I missed out on, actually. I wasn't super duper crazy interested in it, and to be honest with you, I'm not exactly sure. I like RTS games, not necessarily competitive ones. I like to play StarCraft. I like to play Warcraft 3 with computers or my friends. The second that any other individual gets entered into the equation that I do not know, suddenly it becomes a bit of a problem, man. I don't need to be 6 pools airbrushed. I don't need to be 12 droned or anything like that from literally minute 1 of any game. Competitive RTSs are beyond my capabilities, so I kind of just decided we'll give it a miss. And to be honest with you, based on the numbers, it seems like a lot of people kind of felt the same way. This is a game by ex-Blizzard employees, and it's currently sitting at 24 players right now, 35 peak in the last 24 hours, and it only peaked at just under 5,000 people on the game. People on the Stormgate subreddit are in a bit of disarray right now. Apparently, the CEO of the company is searching for funding still. They are still trying to save this project, which is big respect for, I suppose. To be fair, people that make RTSs, I think they know that it's not exactly the most marketable genre. It's kind of a difficult genre to get into and a difficult one to profit from. Probably the reason why there was never a StarCraft 3. Probably the reason why all they did was remaster Warcraft 3 instead of make a Warcraft 4. But a lot of people are sad about it. I mean, it's not enough people that they're playing the game, but the difficulty is that StarCraft 2 is free to play now, and these are from developers that were involved in StarCraft to begin with, but we don't really need StarCraft spin-off fan game when StarCraft 2 is as accessible as it ever was and ever will be. But the thing is, people still aren't really flocking to StarCraft 2 in massive amounts of droves, and that's unfortunately just a limitation of the fact that it's an RTS game. Some of the most fun you can have with your friends playing video games is jumping onto like StarCraft 2 or Warcraft 3 and playing the custom game modes that aren't just building bases and fighting each other. But what are you gonna do? People just don't like the way games like these control, and I can't exactly blame them for that, you know? Quite a few people are attributing Stormgate's failure to a massive marketing push that went out before the game was in a particularly not playable state, but polished state that people would actually want to engage with. Similar to how I was with League of Legends, there was a period of time where I was getting many views in League of Legends, and I was growing as a channel, and then things just kind of stopped. And my logic behind it is, and the reason why I'm like, yeah, that makes perfect sense, is that every single person that had ever watched YouTube League of Legends gameplay videos or whatever has probably already seen one of my videos, and they've made a decision on whether or not they want to subscribe to me or not. And that's a completely fair thing to say and a completely fair thing to do. But at a point, you have to be like, well, there's not enough new people coming in, so we're probably not going to grow. And it's the same thing with Stormgate. They did a massive marketing push. Everybody that was interested in RTS games saw the game, made a decision or gave it a shot, and decided they weren't into it because it wasn't in 1.0 yet, and then left, and they're not going to come back. They've already made that decision on whether or not they think the game is worth their time. The game is in limbo. They are trying to make it work, but currently a free-to-play game with 35 people on it every day is probably not going to cut it for much longer. Server costs are probably cheap though, if there's not that many games going on. Battle Aces is the next one, and it is yet another real-time strategy game from the people that brought you StarCraft. That's right, ex-Blizzard employees. This game says coming soon. It would have you believe that it's coming soon. It's got Rolling Stone, a game whose simplicity belies its elegance, a brilliant competitive RTS, and the result is RTS combat that feels very fast and rewarding, and its snappy 10-minute matches are fun to watch unfold. You can see a tremendous amount of inspiration from just StarCraft's whole aesthetic in this particular game, in this trailer, and you'll be happy to hear that the ex-Blizzard employees decided that the development would have to end because it did not shake up enough interest, or it did not shake up enough investment, and it is completely gone. So we don't even have player count numbers on it because basically I don't think really anybody played it, frankly. We have Molten Games, who were let me check my notes here. They were Blizzard, they were Sony Online Entertainment, and they didn't even make a game. They stripped off, they started development, and they then laid off their entire their entire staff before the game was even announced. I don't think there's anything on the game that they were even going to announce here. Apparently, they're still looking for investment to continue developing a game, but I do not know what the game was, to be honest with you. We have Seekers of Skyville from Riot Games themselves. Again, we have Seekers of Skyville, which was another PvPvE extraction shooter type game. Very similar to Supervive, I guess, in that regard. Similar to Battle Royale, Bloodline Champions. The MOBA genre, they cannot help themselves at all. Three-man team running around, killing monsters, picking up stuff, and then I presume eventually running into other players. But I've just sat through quite a bit of this particular video of gameplay, and there's no human beings to be seen apart from the ones that are actually in it. It doesn't look particularly interesting though, if I'm gonna be honest with you. There's not that much going on. I guess that makes it a little bit simpler, a bit more easy to parse than Supervive. Oh wait, hold on, there's a player. Riveting stuff. This game's been sunsetted. It's already been shut down. So player numbers are a little bit irrelevant in this regard. They put out a message that was on March the 21st that said, "With heavy heart, we share some difficult news for you today. They'll be shutting their doors on March 31st, 2025, and with it, LOD as a studio will also be closing its doors. It was founded in 2019. It started with an ambitious concept and a veteran team dedicated to making that experience reality. We undertook a major pivot over almost 21 months ago, which ultimately evolved into the MOBA meets extraction experience you see today. Along the way, we became leaner and all more determined to get a launch game. There were moments when we almost didn't make it, but thanks to the support of investors who believed in our vision, we were able to push forward and bring Seekers of Skyville to life. This isn't the outcome we hoped for, but it doesn't take away from what we were able to accomplish together. Thank you for being part of our adventure. Now, actually looking at wait, hold on. This is absurd, man. Can I just see this? This game released in March. The game released on the 3rd of March. And then on the 21st of March, it announced that it was going to be shutting down. And then the 31st of March, it was shut down. It's cursed. It's all cursed. Everything about it is cursed. Another popular one that had a lot of promise in it, although God knows how or why, was Project Ghost, which was made by Ghostcrawler, who was working on the Riot Games League of Legends MMO. He split off to make his own studio called Fantasy Pixel Castle, I believe it's called. This was going to be a gigantic MMO. People had a lot of faith in this, and I cannot imagine why, because creating MMOs are an unbelievably gigantic task, a gargantuan task that I do think that even experienced developers probably have no clue how how brutal it could be. I have no clue how brutal it could be. But, you know, there's videos of playtests of people having a shot of it, and it's all very much like work in progress, kind of like, you know, we'll add extra stuff here and we'll make some stuff better. They're just trying to make sure that the game is working. And yeah, it's done. It's shut down. I mean, the game is being cancelled as far as I can tell. It was being funded by NetEase, and NetEase pulled the plug on it, which is fair enough, because they're probably in the business of making money, and it was going to take a very, very long time and a humongous amount of resources for a game that it's just too difficult to compete with the ones that are big in the scene, really. New World tried, it didn't work. WoW's not going anywhere. Final Fantasy 14 not going anywhere. Guild Wars 2 still putting out expansions, and it's still doing its thing, but it's also an MMORPG that has existed for 20 years, so like breaking into the scene now is difficult. However, somehow I think there is an exception to this rule, and I don't really know necessarily what made it different, what changed about this particular formula that has stuck with people to some degree. This is a game called Palia. It is by Ex-RIOT developers, and it's a game that I actually played with my partner B. We had a great time playing it. She liked the cutesy aesthetic and she wanted to give it a try, and I was like, okay, you know what, she's not much of a gamer, we can have a go of it, and you know, maybe it'll be an experience where I can get her into PC gaming a little bit more. And it was fun. Fishing, hunting, crafting, furniture, have your own house, you do some farming, all that kind of stuff. It's a pretty simple concept, and it kind of plays a little bit like Scuffed Breath of the Wild, as many games do. But this, for some reason, is the game that has stuck to people, and I think actually probably is the only game in this entire list that has any chance of success. And it's not going to be like a gangbusters game where it's going to have millions of people playing it. It's not going to be a game that is ever going to be topping the Steam charts, but I think this is probably the only sustainable video game from any ex-developer of any of these major companies that has ever come out that I know of, and please get in the comment section, tell me if I'm wrong, that has a chance to actually be successful. Palia is sitting at a 24-hour peak of 10,000 people, but it's never really peaked that crazily high. There was an expansion that came out that boosted the player count from, you know, 7,000 to 18,000, and it's kind of just hovered around the 10k mark. But honestly, this is such an unbelievably stable chart compared to absolutely everything else. I'm really genuinely impressed. This is not a game that is going to break records or set new standards for video games under any circumstances, but I think the difference from this game compared to every other game that we've looked at on our list is that it's not X game but Y. It's not League of Legends but it's table hockey. It's not StarCraft but slightly different. It's not League of Legends but a battle royale. It's just Homestead Simulator where you do missions and cozily talk to people and fish and farm and build and craft. And it's very much like a social MMO. You can like see people running around, you can have conversations with people, but generally speaking, you're kind of just doing your own thing whilst other people mill around in the world that you're playing. And good! Because a lot of these people seem to have made the mistake of trying to capitalize off of the fact that they worked for a company that made a game that these people like. And they've tried to make a game that's similar to the game that they helped create that people like. But the issue is when you do something like that, people may subconsciously or not feel a choice to pick which one they like better. And the chances are they're going to stick with the tried and tested one that has hundreds and hundreds of people working on it, updating it, changing it every couple of weeks, patching it, adding new content all the time. It's just not something you can compete with. And Palia just decided to go off on its own. There ain't nothing like that in League of Legends. There's nothing like that in Legends of Runeterra and 2XKO and Valorant and Teamfight Tactics and Riftbound. What else did they make? What other games have they made? I don't know. But God bless them. And I've got some hours on this game as well. Not like a crazy amount, but I would say that if you're looking for a game to play that is the lowest stakes video game you'll ever experience, you're just running around, exploring, picking things up, crafting, having a good time, and you just want to turn the brain off, this one's not a bad shot. It's a pretty decent choice if you want to play with the controller and just mess around. For every other game that's been on this list so far, Godspeed, God help you. You'll be in my prayers, but I just know that we're going to be seeing lots and lots more cancellations and shutdowns this year. For all the potential developers who are thinking about striking out on their own and making their own video game, don't. Okay? If you're gonna make a MOBA game and you work at Riot, shut the fuck up. Stop. Don't do it. Do not quit your job and do this. Listen, I know you can scam a bunch of VCs out of like $20 million because you used to work at Riot, and you can, as a CEO, take a pretty good cut of the dividends from that. Shut the fuck up. Don't do it. It's a waste of time, okay? Like, it might not be a waste of time for you, but at least all the other people that join the project, they're just gonna be laid off in like 6 months, okay? Nobody wants that, okay? There's enough layoffs in this industry as it is, and I know that VCs are fucking stupid and they'll just invest in anything. If there's any VCs watching, hey, what's good? Do you want to invest in a failing YouTube channel? Because we can have a conversation about that. But still, don't do it. Don't waste your time. Don't waste other people's time, okay? You can do it if you're going to make a game like Palia, okay? If you're going to make a game like this, you can do that. But if you're going to make fucking League of Legends 2, stop it. Stop what you're doing. You're not allowed to do it. Bad, okay? Bad. Stop it. I don't want to see any more people that worked on StarCraft making StarCraft 2.5 or Craft Star or any other RTS game that is set in space that looks exactly like StarCraft if you were to show it to somebody who has never played StarCraft. I'm sick of this. I forgot I made my character's name Archibald Wizard Sleeve. Brother, what are we doing here, man? What am I doing? B made her character something similar, so I was like, you know what, man? I'm just gonna go full... I don't know. I've never even watched the Harry Potter movies, man. What was I thinking? What was I thinking? Welcome to the homestead, I guess. Hold on, we've got some... Oh, wait, I haven't even watered my plants, bro. Am I okay? This is like my Neopets all over again, man. I haven't fed them in 15 years. Now, granted, it's not much to look at. We have a couple of fish, but I do like the game. It's pretty cool. We have definitely not got enough to upgrade here. We need to go to City Hall if we want to get permits to build more. Where are we, man? We can at the very least water some of our plants so that they start growing. Oh my goodness. My controller is shaking like hell. If this game does strike you as being your kind of vibe, you should give Palia a try. I swear it's very good for the cozy gamer. You do not need to be playing MOBA battle royales in order to have a good time playing video games. Don't let anybody ever tell you otherwise. Gardening well done. I have absolutely nothing to plant on these plots, so I just did that for the love of the game. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're new to the channel and you're interested in just other stuff to make you laugh, make you angry, just to keep up to date with stories in the world of gaming, please consider subscribing to this channel. I greatly appreciate it. Give the video a like as well. It helps out a great deal. And importantly, have a wonderful day. See you.